Terry Sanford Coaches Report. I'm your host, Coach Jeff Morehead, and with me as always in his 9th season as head coach of the Bulldogs, Coach Mack.
Got me feeling old up here, Coach.
Coach, it's going to be back after a week off last week. Not really a week off, but a week off from a Friday night game.
Yes.
If you had asked everybody at the start of the season when the schedule came out, looking at that schedule, we would have all taken 4-1 going into the bye week.
Yeah, we're competitors. Everybody wants to be 5-0, and we felt like we had a chance to win every week. But the way the RPI and the playoffs and all those things are set up, 4-1, and I think even more important is the 4-1's important. But I think the competition we played, the different looks that we've given, I really feel like between the scrimmages setting up the preseason and the non-conference, I really feel like we've gotten a lot better.
Yeah, our scrimmage part of the season and our non-conference play, which is now over, were challenging, and those are things that we do on purpose to get us ready for what starts Friday night with conference play against Purnell-Sweat, and we'll talk more about Sweat at the end of the show. Like I said, 4-1 into the bye, a 56-29 win at Westover. 8 touchdowns in the first half. Coach, we had 56 points before the first half was over.
It just felt like, there was a lot of things open on offense. And conversely, the defense was really flying around and getting the offense the ball back. Special teams played well. I believe we got an onside kick. Just really felt like that we were ready, locked in and ready to go. You wanted to get that the taste of the other game, the Jack Brick game the week before out. And just kind of locked in early. I felt really good about it. And you gotta get better in all 3 phases, and I felt like we did Friday night.
Yeah, 3 touchdown runs by Zay Washington, 3 touchdown passes by Jacob Moore, a touchdown reception by Jordan Browning, Gavin with the offensive and defensive touchdown in the first half, and Zay Williams with our first touchdown of the game. I don't care who you're playing. I don't care what level. When you score 56 points in less than 24 minutes, that is impressive. Yeah,
and I think there was 2 or 3 minutes to go still right there at the end of the half. And, I love the way that you call out all those names, getting everybody involved. Even though you have 3 touchdown passes, it's 3 different players. Gavin scores on defense. He really had a good night on defense, was all over the place. And then, Zay Wash is nobody wants to tackle him. And I keep telling them, they might tackle you in the first quarter, but second quarter, and it was a little earlier Friday night. It's usually third or fourth quarter, but he kind of leaned on him, and when he ran that linebacker over, it was a wrap.
Yeah, running clock in the second half, which eliminates plays that some guys get to play. But I think if you'd asked everybody going to that game, let's just get through this game with a win, go into the bye week healthy, and we would all take it.
Yeah, and that's one of the things about our team that people you don't realize unless you're coaching them or playing with us. We're thin. We've got a talented ball club, some really good ball players, a great coaching staff. But when you look there, there's a big drop off between the one and the backup guy, and in experience and usually in size as well. So to get out of there healthy with that win was a major key.
We go into the bye week. The guys get a couple days off last Monday, last Friday. Practice isn't as intense. We're still making the most of our practice time. Hour and a half doing some offensive work, getting some guys some rest, some mental reps, a special teams practice on Thursday, which hopefully will become a new tradition at Terry Sanford. We hosted our middle school Max Abbott last Thursday night, and which was really an awesome experience for those guys.
Yeah, if you were there or even just rode by, it was unreal. We knew it was going to be well done. We knew it was going to be well attended, but it was really surprised at how many different parents, the age groups were there. The middle school kids were there. The high school kids were there. Our athletes just really felt like it was a home run.
It really. My expectation for it, I thought of the Max Abbott parents would be there, and they were a great crowd. Right. But so many of our players were there.
Yeah.
The band was there. The varsity and JV cheerleaders, we tried to, they had Jumbotron picks, and the cheerleaders and the Max Abbott football players, we tried to give them a high school football game experience while they're still in middle school.
They got every bit of their money's worth. I saw, one of the parents was trying to take a picture or something on the Jumbotron when their kid get up there. I said, calm down, it'll come back up again. But all joking aside, it was a unbelievable night, and topped off with an 8-6 victory, and a last stand there in the fourth quarter against 5-4. So it was a win-win all around.
It gives us a chance to see the future Bulldogs.
Yes.
It was kind of odd for me to be in the stands watching a game happening at Terry Sanford. I've never done that. At Terry Sanford in a long time, since I was a little kid. But it was a great experience. I've only heard great things about it. It brought the schools, the community together. And it was just a really great night for the area. I've heard really so much positive feedback about that, which also leads into a really special event that took place on Saturday morning, Coach, with Buddy Football.
Yeah, we were excited to go with the rec center and go over to Mass Hill. We had to do it inside because of the weather and the threat of the threat of weather. But those young kids, man, just watching our kids interact with the kids with disabilities, special needs kids. And then, I sat back and was talking with Mr. Craig, our parent of one of our kids, and our athletic trainer, and we were just looking at our kids, and I think our kids might have smiled and had a better time than the actual kids that were there. It was just very rewarding to see our kids interacting with those young men, and even had the mother of one of the kids come up to me, and she had tears in her eyes and said, "You don't understand. He doesn't get this anywhere." Mm-hmm. And it was a very humbling experience.
You see a different side of our players. We see them, on the field. You see them in the weight room, locker room, in the hallways. But with the Buddy Football last Saturday, even the kids camp that we had, it's just fun to see them interact with the young kids.
And, I really love that. I love this. One of my favorite parts with the kids. I love anytime the kids are involved and our kids are coaching with them. Obviously love, our guys during the season, but it's one of my favorite times.
Yeah, it's just the bye week allows us to do things that we can't normally do.
Yep.
But when you have a chance to see the middle school kids and the Buddy Football program, it just warms your heart at times.
It's amazing
to see the young kids and the love they have for the game, and our guys giving back.
And all the work the rec center does. Those guys were out there. They were playing music, introducing the kids. It was first class.
After the break, we will have our 2 players of the week. We will have senior football player, offensive and defensive player Latrell Lynch, and junior O-lineman Jameer Monroe. They'll be joining us after the break. After these messages, we'll be back.
Go Dogs.
to the Terry Sanford Coaches Report. Coach Mack, our first player of the week.
My pleasure, Coach. This is known as LL, senior linebacker, Latrell Lynch. Welcome to the show.
Sir, thank you.
Terrell, when you hear
Always.
senior by your name, man, how does that make you feel about halfway through your senior year?
Man, time flew. 4 years went by super fast. Crazy.
You know, it's always good to have those 4-year guys, Coach. They come in as freshmen, you see them grow. Trail got his start on the offensive side of the ball, playing some running back. And about a year ago, we saw Trail, and we gave him a shot on defense, Coach, and that was a great decision for us.
Yeah, it was, you see him on the running back side, offensive side of the ball, and he's just, he's a dog. He gets after it, physical, fast, very good athlete. It stands out. The first thing you see is just athleticism. And, I think, talking to you one day, he's like, man, we might need to try Trail. I think
it was Triton week last year, which is a hard week for a defense because of the offense they ran. But
that's a great point. But, you guys spotted him, and, talking to you, in the hallway, just talking about his athleticism. It just jumps out at you. And then, he's a football player. So, he was playing running back, but it's easy because he's just a football player.
Troy, you're playing both sides of the ball, averaging about 7 or 8 tackles a game on defense, playing some special teams. Sometimes you don't leave the field. What's that like for you?
Just a part of being a football player. You got to play positions, offensively, defensively, special teams, just whatever it takes to win.
Whatever it takes to win, that's right. So we're 4-1. Non-conference part of the year is over. How would you assess the team's play so far this year?
So 4-1. Me and the guys we're doing pretty good right now. Coming into conference play, just ready to get a conference championship.
That's one of the goals you set for the team, Coach, a conference championship.
Yeah, we don't have many goals, and Trail being a senior, he's privy to them. Just we want to win that we want to play good ball, go 1-0 every week, but all we're about is the conference championship and those home playoff games, because that's what gives you a chance to be in the show at the end, the state championship.
Troy, you're primarily a defensive player. One of the way we run our offense, we've got 3 linebackers out there, but we call one the nickel. You're an inside linebacker who's actually played some D-line some lately. You're kind of all over the field. Just how would you assess the team's defensive play so far this year?
It's been pretty good. We're just moving a lot of stuff around right now. We'll be good. Everybody's swarming to the ball, just doing our job, everything. It'll be good.
I think just if you talk to the defensive guys and the coaches, just limiting the big plays that some of the other teams have. I know our last game play, Westover, had a few big plays that people might look at that score and say, what happened? Well, we did some big plays happened in that first half that we got to clean up the bigger the games get down the road. All right, individual or team goals for this year?
Individually, I'm not really on that. Team goals, state championship, home playoff games, just being with the guys a little longer.
Coach, you hear a player say some of the statements you've just said year after year.
Yeah, and you tell them all the time. I love it when you tell them it's okay to have those individual goals. If you got a tackle goal, that's helping the team. If you're making all conference playing at a high level, I think the biggest thing, when you talk about a Latrell Lynch coming to mind is the unselfishness. Just being able to play wherever we've needed him over the 4 years, and then, he's a football player. He's not a running back. He's not a linebacker. He's just Latrell Lynch when all is said and done, and he hangs up his hat, his helmet here at Terry Sanford will be known as a football player.
All right, we beat Purnell-Sweat if we do what?
Just come out hot, execute. Just everybody doing their job. We get the win.
There you go. Play to our standard, which we hear a lot. All right.
Yes, sir.
Any favorite players or favorite teams, the college and NFL ranks?
Go Buccaneers, man. Tampa Bay. College, I like the Georgia Bulldogs.
There you go. Had a couple of big games on the weekend. I think the Bucs have been playing well. The Eagles kind of gave them a tough game a little bit. Boy. But those are 2 teams, Georgia and Tampa Bay, that we'll see play long into the football season. Trell, looking forward to your big play over the course of the season, man. Appreciate you coming on. Sir. We're back after the break with our next player of the week.
Go Dogs.
Hey everyone, this is Brian Moore, your Athletic Booster Club president here at Terry Sanford. Just asking you to please go to thecoachesreport.com and subscribe to our amazing, one of the only high school podcasts in the country. So we'd appreciate if you would go support and share and see all the information coming up coming up in the weeks forward and the past game. We really appreciate it, and go Dogs.
Welcome back to the Terry Sanford Coaches Report. Coach Mack, our second player of the week.
My pleasure. Next player up is senior offensive lineman and defensive lineman, Jameer Monroe. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Jameer, welcome, man. What do you like best about playing offensive line?
Best thing I know is basically it starts with us and it ends with us, and giving the quarterback and running back more time and space to make some big plays. Well,
if you look at the numbers the team is putting up this year, they are executing very well, Coach Mack.
Oh, yes, and, Coach Toller and those guys have done a great job with the line, a bunch of guys that, are trying to get, it didn't have as much playing time last year. We lost a lot. It was the key, to this season when we came in. So we were, on them hot and heavy. But I love the makeup of the line. Jameer and, Parker and those guys, Kyle, those guys are a tight group, and I love their work ethic.
I'm glad you said that because I know I've talked to you about this, other offensive lineman and Coach Toller, who is with us today as well. Yep. Just the importance of the chemistry with the offensive line, Coach.
And Coach Toller does a good job facilitating that. They're like a family within a family. You see those guys hanging out together, that like-mindedness. But, listening to Coach Toller talk about blocking, it's not just one-on-one. It's five. It's a unit blocking the defensive line. He'd be proud of me being able to say that. Coach Toller's kind of nodding his head, yeah. But you see those guys getting closer and closer, and conversely, the play on the field is getting better and better, and I think there's a direct relationship with that.
Jameer, if you look at the numbers the offense is putting up, we put up 56 points in the first half against Westover. How much better can this offensive line and the offense get over the next few weeks?
I mean, yeah, we can get better if we practice hard, and it's really about our discipline.
As the games get bigger, Coach, it does start in practice and being disciplined on and off the field.
Yeah, it really does. And those guys are, the offensive line, Jameer and those guys, they're the first ones to practice, getting extra reps. I love their character. I love their attitude. And when you work that hard, you're going to get better. We talk about 1-0, getting better every week, getting better every day. Now getting better every rep. And, Jameer epitomizes what that offensive line is all about, hard work, just so humble. They it's like a bring your lunch pail and bring your hard hat to work and just keep your head down and grind, and I love it.
Defense can have a 3-man front, 4-man front, sometimes a 5 or more man front. Just what kind of challenge is that for you guys each week at practice?
I mean, it's a big challenge, but knowing we got the best coaching staff around here, so we go to practice, get film, work on, look at our defense techniques, and recognize during the game.
I don't know many teams that watch as much film as we do, Coach, and our players. We're talking, before practice, after practice. We try to see how much film the guys are watching, and we let them know about that. Just the preparation is really second to none.
It really is. They pick up so many things, and you'll hear them comment. The great thing about it is it's working, the product that you put on the field on Friday night, but also the way they talk. Hey, remember this guy, number 73. We won't say anything for this week, but number 73, when he does this, this happens. Or, hey, that's the weak guy. So you see them in film a lot during the week, but also what they're getting out of it is great.
Any individual or team goals for the year?
Like Charles said, I'm not a team person, but I want to win all conference and make a deep run in the playoffs.
There you go. The more awards winners we have, Coach, that's a sign of a great year and hopefully a deep playoff run, conference championship. Any favorite players or favorite teams?
Favorite player is Trent Williams.
Oh, Alabama offensive tackle.
Big boy.
Any favorite NFL teams or players?
NFL teams, Panthers.
Panthers, man. Well, we might need some of our offensive guys to play for the Panthers, Jameer. What do you think about that?
Y'all might have to get drafted.
They're kind of tough to watch, but there's a lot of season left for both college, pro, and us.
Yes.
Bigger games down the road. Jameer, appreciate you coming on, man. Looking forward to your play over the course of the next few weeks. We'll be back after these messages.
Go Dogs.
Back from our final timeout, Coach. We start conference play on Friday night.
Hard to believe. Somebody told me you're at the halfway point, and then I thought about the scrimmages. I said, we're past the halfway point because, getting prepared for all that. And then week 6 and going into week 7, it's mind-boggling that we're here.
Yeah, I always say June 1st is when football starts, and we're definitely past the halfway point. Just to remind our fans, we're in a new conference this year, and our conference opponents are starting this week: Purnell-Sweat, Scotland, Lumberton, Cape Fear, Grays Creek. And so they all have their non-conference record, but the most important thing is we're all 0-0 in conference play. The other conference games this week: Lumberton at Cape Fear, Scotland at Grays Creek, and then we host Purnell-Sweat, which is our homecoming game of the year. Yep. Coach, you are a Bulldog alum.
Yes.
What does it mean to you being an alum? You wore the jersey, you wore the helmet. What's it mean being the leader of our program right now?
Well, it's a great honor and humbling, but I sure did enjoy homecoming better as a player than I do as a coach. Just the logistical nightmare for a coach. You're as a player and a student, you love it. You're running around, and all the girls are around, and your homeboys are around, and everything's great. But then as a coach, you're trying to navigate all these things. We're having a pep rally. We're having this. We're having that. And at some point, you want to remind them, hey, look, it's a football game. We're worried about the football game. But our kids deserve it, especially the seniors. Their last homecoming. Really happy for them and proud of them. So we're going to embrace all the traditions, but just to see the different people and some of the people from the past in homecoming, and for the older guys to see the newer guys and that standard being passed along, it's a special time.
I know you have a crew of friends that always text you about the games or on the sidelines, and I'm talking from all over the country. Rolo in Washington.
Yes.
Jason down in Arkansas,
yes.
Scott in Georgia, all these guys from all over. And I've become friends with these guys over the years.
Yeah.
So they hit me up throughout the year. So it's always good to see those guys try to make it to a game. We
and they're all coming in. So
we have plenty of alum interaction with this team as the season goes on. Just seeing all the fans in the stands that played at Terry Sanford, went to Terry Sanford, and so on.
Got a little surprise this Friday night. So the podcast will come out on Thursday, so they're not going to really give it away. But that 85 team that went to the state championship and was Eastern champions got a little surprise for those guys. So shout out to my sideline crew. Love you guys.
There you go. So obviously what's more important to us is the actual game taking place on Friday night, hosting Purnell-Sweat, who comes into the game 2-3 on the season. Had a tough loss the night of our Westover game, a very competitive game down in Brunswick County. Offensively, they have a quarterback who is averaging close to 180 yards a game. They are more of a passing team than running team, so that is evident on film. We've practiced some things this week to put us in good position for that. Just defensively, Coach, what concerns you about Purnell-Sweat?
Well, size up front. Those guys get after it up front. The linebackers run to the ball well, and they're athletic in the secondary. But that size up front is and the ability of their defensive line and how the backers run to the football is going to be a good challenge for us.
Offensively, they do a lot of formations, and so us lining up right defensively, being able to recognize formations early. That is something that was stressed at practice on Monday. Just simply lining up right can put you in a much better position to make plays. We can go back and watch some of our earlier game tape, and some of the biggest plays we have given up this year because we have not lined up right. So we're lining up late. We're not set in time, and the play starts, and we're just not in position. So that's something that we've got to clean up going forward this year.
Be a good test. Yeah.
JVs will be at Purnell-Sweat. They'll have a nice little drive Thursday night, an hour down to Pembroke to play their game Thursday at 6:30. Max Abbott is 2-0. They are on the road this week. Hopefully they can make it 3 in a row. But we are looking forward to having all of our Bulldog fans Friday night, Bill Yeager Stadium, Armstrong Stadium for the game on Friday versus Purnell-Sweat. Homecoming. We've had great crowds all year. It should not change this Friday. Looking forward to welcoming back some former Terry Sanford Bulldogs. We will see you Friday night at the game. Go Dogs.
Let's celebrate. Go Dogs.